Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
I'll do it for the family, even if it breaks me.
This happened in 2014. I was 26. My wife Sandra was 27. We'd been married for 2 years after meeting in college. She studied accounting. I was in mechanical engineering. Sandra was gorgeous with long dark hair, always pulled back in a flawless ponytail, intense eyes that looked like they were seeing right through you, and this air of confidence that made everyone in her orbit take notice. She had this manner of speaking that was firm yet refined. You always felt like you had to impress her. It drew me in like a moth to a flame. We met at a fraternity party and bonded over cheap sangria and awful dance music. Within a year, we decided to marry. I thought of Sandra as the perfect partner. Intelligent, assured, someone who challenged me to be better. She wanted a comfortable life, and I convinced her I could provide that no matter what. But marriage meant dealing with her toxic family. Her mother, Isabella, treated me like garbage from day one, acting like I wasn't refined enough for her precious daughter. She'd make constant snide comments. "My dear, you deserve someone far more refined," right to my face. Sandra's father, Marco, was a pushover who never stood up to Isabella's domineering presence. Sandra's sister, Serena, was married to Arnold and had been struggling with infertility for several years. Initially, Sandra and I planned to wait on kids. We wanted to travel the world, build careers, pay off the mortgage. "We have plenty of time for babies," Sandra would say with her signature arrogance. "There are more important things to focus on first." I actually liked this arrangement because I had my own ambitions at the engineering firm. Everything changed after Isabella had a health scare and was hospitalized. The moment Sandra found out, she went into a panic. For years, Isabella had hammered into her daughters' heads that family is everything, and each woman's greatest pride is producing an heir. Then came Isabella and Marco's 30th wedding anniversary, one of those big affairs with formal wear, fancy dinner, atmosphere of forced cheer. Isabella used the microphone that night to dramatically lament her fragile health and grave fear that she might never become a grandmother. During that same party, Serena broke down in tears, confessing to the family that she'd been to numerous fertility clinics with no luck. She simply couldn't conceive, and the emotional weight was crushing her. Isabella theatrically declared, "I just want grandchildren. Serena tried, but we might never have a child in this family's bloodline. If Sandra also waits forever, I might be gone by then." She cast a disparaging glance in my direction, as if I was personally denying her a grandbaby. The pressure intensified when Serena attempted self-destruction from the stress. I got a call from Sandra. "Alex, I'm at the hospital. It's Serena. She tried to hurt herself. She overdosed on pills." When I arrived, Sandra's eyes were red from crying. Isabella stood with that icy expression, and Arnold paced in a corner. At the hospital, Isabella had the audacity to blame me. "You do realize that if you and Sandra would just have a child, Serena wouldn't feel all this pressure alone." Her audacity took my breath away. "That's not how mental health works," I retorted. "Don't blame me for your daughter's breakdown." Sandra tensed up but didn't defend me. She never did in front of her mother. 2 days later, the entire extended family gathered at Isabella's house to discuss solutions. I listened to the same old laments. No grandchildren, heartbreak, a mother's dying wish. My patience was worn thin. Finally, I suggested, "What about adoption? For Serena and Arnold?" Isabella practically spat. "That's not a real grandchild. We're talking about our bloodline." "It's not an option." The whole family treated me like I was ignorant for even suggesting it. A few weeks later, Serena and Arnold started visiting our house more often, whispering with Sandra in the kitchen. The moment I'd enter, they'd clam up. Sandra became increasingly secretive with her phone, snatching it up whenever it buzzed. When I questioned her, she'd dismiss me. "I'm just talking with Serena. She's still fragile. You wouldn't understand." My frustrations with Sandra were growing. She was always so arrogant, dismissing me whenever I questioned anything. I'll admit, I started lashing out with petty insults. Maybe if you use that fancy accounting degree to see what a fool you're being, you'd see the big picture. Then came July 5th, the day that changed everything. I pulled into our driveway and saw a cluster of cars, Isabella's, Serena's, Arnold's, and others. My heart pounded with foreboding. Stepping inside, I discovered them assembled in our living room like some twisted intervention. Isabella turned her frosty gaze on me. "We're here to settle the matter of grandchildren," she said with that lethal hush in her tone. Sandra snapped, her arrogance turning acidic. "Stop pretending to be clueless, Alex. You've been so stubborn about me having a baby, and I'm tired of waiting." Isabella seized the moment. "Our solution has become quite simple. Since Serena can't conceive, and you refuse to step up as a father, Sandra will conceive a child with Arnold. Serena will raise it as her own." My breath caught. I stared in disbelief, but no one blinked or laughed. This was no joke. "What?" I finally croaked, heart pounding. Arnold smirked. "We're not asking for your permission, man. It's basically a done deal. We just wanted you to know." My fury ignited. I glared at Sandra. "So that's it? You all meet behind my back and come up with this twisted plan and I'm the last to know?" She shrugged. "It's for Serena. She's depressed. She tried to eliminate herself, remember? This baby will give her hope. You, Alex, are selfish. Always have been." Something in me snapped. "You're all insane," I roared, lunging for Arnold. My punch landed square on his jaw, sending him sprawling onto the carpet. Serena screamed. Sandra grabbed at me, but I shoved her aside. "Get out of my house!" I bellowed. They fled, hurling insults. Isabella shrieked, "You are an unworthy husband!" My daughter deserves better. Sandra was the last to storm out, only to barge into our bedroom, face contorted with anger. I followed and slammed the door. "You're letting them manipulate you into sleeping with your brother-in-law." "That's vile," she glared. "You have no idea how hopeless Serena feels. My mother is right. She might die any day without seeing a grandchild. You're too blind to care." Our argument spiraled in circles of shouts and curses. Eventually, she locked herself in the bathroom, and I left to cool off. For days, we lived separate lives under the same roof, barely speaking except for barbed remarks. Then Sandra apologized. She came home one evening. "I shouldn't have slapped you, and I'm sorry for the things I said." She sighed. "Serena's on self-destruction watch. My mother's still scolding me about not being pregnant. The entire family is counting on me to fix everything. I feel trapped, but I can't betray them." Despite my rage, part of me still wanted to be recognized as good enough. Finally, I sighed. "Fine, we'll discuss having a baby. Our baby. On one condition. No more talk of Arnold impregnating you. That's off the table." We sealed our fragile truce that night. Over the next 6 months, I gave Sandra anything she wanted. New furniture, spa weekends, expensive gifts. She soaked up the attention, growing smugger each time. This is exactly what I needed. I enjoyed the sense of power, dangling the possibility of fatherhood while fueling my superiority. One evening, Sandra came home glowing. "I found the perfect spot for a romantic trip. Let's go to Santorini or the Maldives." I planned a grand gesture. Plane tickets to Santorini for 2 weeks in a luxury villa. It cost me a fortune, but I wanted to see how far her arrogance could go. On February 20th, the day the tickets arrived, I hurried home to surprise her. The house was quiet when I walked in. I found a note on our bed in Sandra's delicate handwriting. "Alex, you see that nothing in our relationship changes, no matter how much we try. I love you, but I also love my family, and I cannot watch my sister suffer. They need me to provide an heir to our family's line. I'm leaving for a month. Arnold, my parents and I will be out of town. We won't tell you where because you'd only interfere. I have to do this for Serena. I'll come back when I'm pregnant, and we'll pretend nothing ever happened. The baby will be theirs to raise. Don't try to find me. I'm sorry." I stood there reading over and over, a tremor building in my chest. She chose them, chose Arnold. I felt that dark rage surging inside me. Without thinking, I hurled the plane tickets across the room. My entire plan of controlling her with lavish gifts was worthless. After 2 days wallowing in hatred, I decided I'd had enough. I called a real estate agent to explore renting our house. Sold most of our electronics, furniture, even the car. Emptied our joint accounts, leaving only a few meager dollars. If Sandra wanted to come back after her twisted quest, She'd find a hollow shell and zero access to my money. The next day, I took a final look at the empty living room and left for the airport with a duffel bag in one hand, Sandra's abandoned phone in the other. 3 weeks after arriving in Toronto, I rummaged through Sandra's phone out of morbid curiosity. I connected it to Wi-Fi in my modest apartment. Notifications flooded in. One grabbed my attention, a family WhatsApp group titled Baby. The latest message was from Serena. It's finally happened, everyone. After more than 20 attempts, we're going to have a grandchild. She'd attached photos, Arnold looking smug, half undressed, and my wife in nothing but underwear, hair plastered to her forehead with sweat, triumphant grin on her face. The second photo showed a pregnancy test with 2 pink lines. I felt physically ill seeing photographic evidence of their betrayal. Then Sandra started texting my phone. "Love, I'm home now. Everything went perfectly. I'm pregnant with Arnold's child. Please come back." Followed by, "Darling, come home. We need to talk. The accounts are empty and the cards don't work. I need money for groceries." I let out a bark of harsh laughter. "Now you want me to fund your brother-in-law's child?" Over my dead body. She tried calling repeatedly. I let the phone ring. Then came a barrage from Serena, Arnold, Isabella. My block list grew by the hour. In their twisted minds, I was still part of their family, expected to foot the bills. My own father called, confused by Sandra's claims I'd abandoned her. I sent him the photos and he was horrified. "Alex, that woman is insane." "You made the right choice." I built a new life in Canada, eventually getting a good engineering job in Montreal, filed for divorce using Sandra's note and photos as evidence. Then came the ultimate twist. My friend Elliot called with news that Sandra had miscarried. She lost Arnold's baby, possibly from stress, and had to have her uterus removed. She could never have children again. Isabella was furious, blaming me. Serena had a massive falling out with Sandra, blaming her for everything. The entire fiasco was imploding. Nearly a year later, Sandra video called from an unknown number. When I answered, her face filled the screen, eyes sunken, complexion sallow, looking like she'd aged a decade. "Alex, please don't hang up. I lost the baby. The doctors had to remove my uterus. I can't ever conceive again. I've cut ties with my mother, with Arnold and Serena. None of it was worth it. I'm so sorry." I felt no pity, only bitter triumph. I let silence stretch before speaking coldly. "Let's keep this brief. You made your choices, Sandra. You confused my love for blind obedience. You wanted to please that harpy mother of yours and expected me to nod along. Now you're reaping the consequences." Her tears started falling. "I know, I made a terrible mistake. I was arrogant, cruel, and I let them control me. Can't we fix this?" I cut her off with a cold laugh. "Forgive you? No. I hope that vile mother of yours never sees any grandchildren. She manipulated you into that insane scheme, and you went along with your entitlement. You'll carry that guilt forever." When she kept crying about her health problems and having no one, I delivered the final blow. "When Isabella finally dies, I promise I'll find her grave and piss on it. That's how little she means to me." Sandra let out a wounded wail, tears streaming down her face. I ended the call and blocked the number. In late 2019, the divorce went through. My lawyer secured a dissolution that left Sandra with almost nothing. I paid alimony for a single year, and that was it. Looking back, I wasn't innocent. I was controlling and cruel, enjoyed manipulating Sandra with money, and lashed out at her family even though they were vile too. But their betrayal was unforgivable. Sandra chose her toxic family's twisted scheme over our marriage. She got pregnant by her brother-in-law behind my back, expected me to fund it, and thought she could come crawling back like nothing happened. Instead, she lost everything: the baby, her fertility, her family relationships, her marriage, and any financial security. She made her bed with that manipulative family and their sick plan. She got exactly what she deserved: nothing.